Hello, everyone. Today is March 25th, 2021. Welcome to our professional development workshop. I am Paolo. I'm here with my friends Poonam and Sana. And here you will be learning about digital literacy, project management, and a little bit of polish. So let's get started with introduction. So with what do people use to plan their schedules? On the left, you can see a little bit of a physical side to it, right? We got post-it notes, we got a little bit of a whiteboard, we got a planner. And on the right side, we have mail, we got a little bit of notes and Google Calendar. Now, if you are a person who tends to be more of the physical planner, right, you may want to consider using some of the digital apps and resources and software because of how much we live in the digital world. And now if you're a digital planner, that's great, right? You're able to use notes, you're able to use everything that will become relevant in the future. But hopefully this workshop will be able to help you maximize that time and that usage. So what are we talking about today? Now, not only do you need to be digitally literate in college, but employers and coworkers will be expecting you to know how to use these digital equivalents. So this workshop will include a mix of several items. On one end, we're going to be talking about digital literacy, or leveraging the tools in front of you to maximize what little time we have with it. And then on the second half of it, we'll be talking about project management, or managing your time so that your workload will be able to increase your team's efficiency. Now, if you already have a system, perhaps it could be refined with some of the organization tips, the shortcuts, and the tips and tricks that we'll be sharing with you today. So let's move on to digital literacy. Name that software. I believe this is the part where Poonam will be able to take over. So Poonam. But anyway.
So if anyone wants to put in the chat, turn on your mic. We'd love to hear your voices.
Any Adobe, like Photoshop or whatever they have.
Instagram.
Yay, Instagram.
LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah. So
Is
there's
that handshake?
Discord.
Yes, handshake.
Discord. MailChimp, yeah. There's a whole bunch. TikTok. Sorry, I love TikTok. So whenever I see it, I get very excited. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of different slides, different softwares that we use. And these are just a few of them. We all know.
Yeah, so by just like a guesstimate, how much time do you think you spend on your phone and or computer? Just as a little pulse from the group.
All day.
All day, 24/7? Okay.
Yep.
17 hours? Oh no. How much time do you get sleep?
Oh no.
Let's say this. How much time is spent doing work or assignments? Because I'm sure we're all endlessly scrolling through Instagram. Five plus hours. Yeah. I'm seeing, yeah. So let's say let's say we're taking more than 15 credits in order to be a full-time student. We have an internship, we have to do homework, and we also want to maybe go out and make a list, or we have to use Google Notes in order to type something, a journal up, or we're even doing video software, or we're even making a spreadsheet because we need to make a list for a future vacation. So long story short, right? We're using a lot of this software, right? From what I'm getting is that a lot of people, use at least 8 or more, 10 or more of this stuff. What being digitally literate is, right, is being able to be more experienced with the softwares that you're using, right? So that let's say that you have to do something that's due in an hour, that you could potentially do something like that, or even just like you can finish that in an hour. So here's what we're going to be focusing on in this particular workshop.
Google. Okay, so we're all familiar with Google. Many of us literally grew up with it in middle school. So we got Google Chromebooks. We started using Drive and Docs, and then Google Slides were introduced. And then very quickly, Google also introduced us to Google Classroom, and it became very prominent in schools. There's also Excel sheets. So Google is literally like the king of everything. And so why we should focus on it is one, it's free. There's no software download needed. We have shared folders so we can collaborate with teams easily. We can see that with Enactus, we have a whole central drive. Everyone can see each other's work and kind of help each other out in that way. And it's a cloud-based system, so everything is readily accessible on any device. You can use it on your laptop, you can use it on your phone, you can use it on the go, wherever you're going. And then when it comes to sheets and documents, so that you see those on the slide, these two make up the backbone of what keeps teams running. So a major benefit to learning these two is that the work you put into here is transferable onto most other programs. So that being Excel, Word, pretty much any software where you might need to make a presentation.
For sure, yeah. So we're talking shortcuts. We're talking ways to make your time more efficient with what you got. And so we're going to do a little bit of a demonstration here. So if you haven't heard, there's this club at Rutgers called the Rutgers Association of Marketing and Strategy called RAMS. Now, say you are part of the e-board for RAMS, right? And you just came up with an event for Campbell Soup, and they want you to, send them the list of attendees. Okay. Now, where between sheets and documents, I mean, it seems fairly obvious. Which one would you be using for that? Low-hanging fruit. Google Sheets. Thank you, Kurtvi. Okay, so you make a Google, oh, not that. You make a Google Sheets doc, and let's say something like this pops up. Now, it's great. I mean, it works, right? It's got names, it's got the grad year, got the net ID, whether you're even coming. But let's think about the polish of this document, okay? What are things that you may see in a better formatted document that aren't currently being used here? Oh, wait, nope, not this one. Totally forgot. So yes, so you get all of this, okay, right? Totally forgot this part. You get all of this information, and then someone compiles it onto this kind of sheet. Okay, now this is a better sheet to look at. Okay, now it's great, right? It's got the names, it's got the emails, it's even got some of the committee and e-board stuff. But I mean, what are things that you see about this that could be a little bit better, or that even just look gross? One thing that I definitely see
Like some of
is,
them are
go
green
for it.
and like why is like some of them green on the notes and some of them not? I guess, or like it's just like,
Yeah, true. One of them that I was going to talk about, and thank you for contributing, is some of these people are green, and then there's this group of red people. I mean, what does that mean? Another thing is, right, if we're talking about keeping a linear flow of the document, it's great that these columns are here, but then what is this? I mean, and then what does that mean for the rest of the people? What are they? Are they just Are they presenters? Are they participants? Oh, but then the presenters are here or something. I mean, everything is a little bit messy. So let's do a little bit of a demonstration, okay? What I'll be going through is a few of the tips and shortcuts that I typically do when it comes to making a Google Sheets document. Now, one thing that's really good about this is that you can delete the rows and columns of Google Sheets. If you scroll all the way down and you right click and press delete rows, you see how there are 3 rows at the bottom right here. Now, for Mac users, every control is actually command, but if you press Control Shift Z, it'll copy the last action that you previously did. Now, this is different on Excel and Word, but on Google Sheets, it's Control Shift Z, and that automatically deletes the columns. So if we look over, or the rows. Now, if we look over here, and let's say that I wanted to delete this stuff, I go delete columns, Control Shift Z again, and then those columns are deleted. Now, regarding formatting, I love to highlight the entire sheet, make it 12 size font Times New Roman, because who doesn't love that? And then I like to center all of the cells. So you click over here, you click center, click over here, you click center again, click over here, you wrap that text. So something that someone may notice is that these emails right here under the notes section are hidden, right? You have to highlight them or you have to click on them. But if you click on wraparound, then it does this. Now, the sad thing is that wraparound sometimes makes these columns or makes these rows go a little bit more. So you drag this, you click on it and you drag it so that the emails are now all on one row. And let's say that the same thing was for here. If you wanted to make the columns the same size, you would click on both columns, press Control so that you can press both columns. And then if you drag the columns, they will be the same size as well. Oh, not that. That's a little gross. Here you go. Now, let me make some quick additions, moving this over here. I copy and paste. And then I'm going to be doing something pretty cool that I want to ask if y'all know how to do. Now, you see how this here has first name, last name? And these are names already in the same column. Does anyone know how they would be able to break this up without manually typing it in? By show of reactions, if I could get like the green check marks or the red X's. I see an X. I see an X. Okay, well, let me show you something pretty cool. If you highlight all of these and then you click on data, split text to columns, you see this separator. It detects automatically, but if you click on it, you get a drop-down box, and then you use whatever is most commonly split. So in this case, you space it. Now, what automatically happens is that first names and last names are automatically changed like that. Okay, I'm going to be doing one other thing after I make this quick addition, where I take this, and you know how this is all messed up like this? And even though I could open it up like that, then the last names get a little big. What I can do here is I can merge these columns and make it so that they span the 3 columns. And then I could delete all these columns. And suddenly, if we're talking about linear flow, everything comes across nicely like that. Now, one last thing regarding sheets. 2 last things, actually. You know how when you get to the bottom, the headers kind of disappear, the dates kind of disappear? Has anyone heard about freezing columns and freezing rows? Is that something that people know about by show of reactions? I get a yes. And then I'll take every non-reaction as a no. But thank you for the yes. So if you go here and you click on view and you click on freeze, you can click up to the current row. All of these dates and these headers now stay on. One last thing, I'm going to delete this. And let's say that you want all of these names to be in alphabetical order. what you would do is highlight, click on data, sort range. Let's say we sorted by last name. Everything automatically gets sorted from there. And that's how you do some cool stuff. Now, let's say you do all that and you reformat a little. Sometimes, or eventually, you may be able to go from here, or what was the original, to something like this with a little bit of work and effort, right? We have positions, we have the last names. They're all separated by eBoard committee. The notes come in the form of their emails. The colors are those who have RSVP'd but didn't necessarily come. And we got event date and time. Everything looks neat, nice, and orderly. Does anyone have any questions? Because I did go through a lot.
How do you change it from like red and white alternately?
Yes, so that is something that I forgot to do. But you take this, we will highlight, I'll highlight just the entire thing. You could also do it partially in the sheet. Then you go to format, alternating colors right here. When you do that, now it will get rid of the current highlights of the cells, but oh, it won't actually, and I don't know why, but that's how you would be doing alternating colors. Does that make sense? Beautiful.
Yep, sounds good.
Awesome. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, cool. Well, I do know that I am going through a lot in a very short amount of time. So don't worry, if you are still interested in getting all these shortcuts down, there will be a resource sheet provided by the end of workshop. But just for now, sit back and enjoy the show regarding shortcuts and changes. So let's move on to docs over here. Let's do a quick pivot, right? So let's say that you're the director of the events committee and your events committee brought you some of their ideas for some future events. And it looks a little something like this. So we got like an objective, we got a whole table. I know tables are very daunting for some people. We got some images, a little bit of a game night. And over here, got a little image that's kind of screwing up here. Now, when you look at something like this, is there anything that you may notice that maybe could be fixed, could be a little bit better? Something that I notice immediately, right, is this image right here. It's kind of messing up the paragraph, so it's causing this sentence to be a run-on for the entire page. Another thing that I notice is this table, while it's great, kind of spans 2 pages when it could span just 1. And also, although everything is the same size and there's some bolds, I can't exactly understand the flow of the document because it doesn't exactly read very nicely. Okay, so we have some things to fix. Oh, so we're going to take this, we're going to copy it down here. Oh, I'll copy it up here. And we're going to be doing some cool stuff, okay? So we'll take this entire thing. Now, I like to start off just as a very baseline, right? Times New Roman font, size 12. And not necessarily center aligning everything, but you see a lot of this white space that comes in between each spot. We want to get rid of that. We want to make sure everything is consolidated so that it flows more nicely. So we're going to make this custom spacing. I like to choose 1.15 because when it comes to single spacing, everything looks way too scrunched. That's a little bit of a resume thing. But yeah, so that, and sometimes you'll see a little bit of extra space. So that's why you got to make sure that your paragraph spacing is at 0. Now you can do some cool things with docs. Something that I love using right now is a horizontal line, but we'll take this horizontal line and we'll make it 6 size because all that white space, right? You need to consolidate it. We'll add it here and we'll add headings. A lot of people use headings, except they may use it in a sense where let's say that we're writing something and then second topic, but then bullet, and then a comment about that topic. Do you guys see this a lot where sometimes these bullets all the way come here and then you got a description that just kind of goes off for pages? What I like to do is, you see this objective, we'll add the document title, Graham's future, oh no, social event ideas. And then we'll add a header right here. So initial details. I like to make this 16 italicized. And then from here, we can get going with the content. So this objective, what I'm doing right now, I realize I'm going very fast, is I'm pressing Control I in order to make something italicized. You can also press Control U to make something underlined, or Control B to bold it. And I'm also pressing Control Shift period in order to make something bigger, or comma in order to make something smaller. Right here, what I just did is I pressed Control Shift 8 in order to make something automatically bullet pointed. If you want, you can press Control Shift 7 to make it a numbered list. Same thing here. Control I, Control Shift period, Control Shift 8. Do you guys know what these lines are? Do you know where they appear on the keyboard? So, because a student asked me about this before. So you see these backslashes, if you press Shift backslash, then they make these cool horizontal lines. So that's a really good way to kind of delineate between certain items. Now let's tackle this table, okay? Now it looks great right now, but there are some things that you can do to make it a little bit better. If you right click on the table and press table properties, I set the cell padding, it's usually at 0.67, or actually 0.067, but I like to make it at 0.01. I like to table align center, table vertical center, so the cells are aligned just like in Excel. And then we'll be doing some of the same stuff here. We'll be bolding this, and obviously to each their own, but this is what I tend to do. And with these bullet points, it's great that they are in there, but you can save a little bit of space by making this from 0.5 to 0.31. I'll use Control Shift Z to do the same formatting onto the rest of them. And then same thing with this. 1 point to 0.56. There you go. So now it's on one page. With images, the weird thing with images is that you can't move them around because then they screw up the text. The cool thing with images is that if you look on here and you press wrap text, make it 0-point margin, then it doesn't really mess it up that much, and you could put it to the right. So what I'll do is I'll put it here and I'll make it, oh no. I will make it smaller and then I'll put it in. So same thing with this, same thing with that. We'll split our attention down here. We'll add another horizontal line and it'll be the same thing. So this is a mini event proposal. It's its own specific idea. So we're gonna make this go in the center. Then we take these logistics, make it bigger, Control Shift 8, description, and then same thing with this. Now this one is a little bit more annoying, but just like we did with the other one, we're gonna press wrap text and we're gonna make it go to the right. So instead of breaking up the text, it stays with it. And then finally, structure of event. So something that looks like this used to look like this. And then if you spend a little bit more time, then you can make it look like this. A little bit of the same thing. Okay. So I know for the past 20 minutes, I did go through a pretty quick demonstration. Regarding documents, does anyone have any questions? I did it perfectly. Sweet.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So, can you like scroll up a little?
To the finished document or just like the old one?
Just like you see above mini event proposal, there's like a
Yes.
horizontal line. How did you get that there?
Yeah, good question. So I'm not entirely sure what it's like on Word, but on Google Docs, if you press on insert and then you see horizontal line right here, that's where it is. Is that good? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Sweet. Yeah, because oftentimes you see a lot of documents with the, the full on underlined, or you'll see some of them with the M dashes that are just copied and pasted. Now, these are great. It's just the thing is that this is just one fell swoop. And then sometimes if you want to delete these, and these get kind of annoying, and then the spacing gets kind of icky. So that's why I do that for the horizontal lines. Does anyone else have any questions? Cool. Okay, well, and with that, I'm just this is something I like to idly do. Sometimes it's nice to look at, so I just like to do that. And with that, I will do a little bit of a recap by showing y'all this little resource guide, which I will open up, put right here. And I'll also put it in here for anyone if you want to copy and paste it, if you want to copy the document, or if you just want to get a little look over of everything. This is a little bit of a resource guide. So we have general things like this, linking your documents. Regarding Google Sheets, there is deleting the white space. You can update font size and position, wrap text, freezing the rows, and alternating colors, the question that Kritvi had. There are also images to reference. Some technical tips, and then for Google Docs, here are table properties, formatting tips regarding, inserting page numbers as well, because sometimes y'all have to do that. And my favorite one, Control-Shift-E to center all the cells, and working with images. And if you want some extra information regarding any digital literacy skills to work on, there's some at the bottom. Beautiful. Okay. So just as a rehash, something that looks like this, or this, or this can turn into something like looks like this, or this, regarding making a table, which is something that I unfortunately did not show, but it is in the resource, and this. Resources. Okay, so this is the breakout room assignment. I see that there are 4/5. If anything, I could break everyone up into groups of 3 and 4. But let's go through this breakout room. Okay, let me set something up in the back end. Okay, so you are a committee member for RAMPS. Your most recent campus event was a success, and it looks like your organizations gained some new members because of it. Now, the e-board, us, would like for the committees to help draft up some plans in preparation for the rest of the semester. Although they've already been created, you notice that they are nearly incomprehensible and not formatted nearly as well as they could be. Now, the e-board is on a tight schedule, so they will only have moments to assess your work. So your director is counting on you to make your documents visually clean and presentable and understandable from the get-go. Yeah, so regarding the sheets, yeah, something that looks a little bit like this, something where everything is centered, everything is, there's the alternating colors, everything has a linear flow to it. So that's what it could look like. So yeah, if you have any questions after this, you are free to ask us, but obviously there are 3 main ways that you can ask for help. One of them is straight up just looking it up on Google. the other one is that most softwares have their own help community. So regarding Google, they have a Google Docs editors help community where you can describe your issue and then people will very likely quickly get back to you. And in addition, if you go here, most softwares, just like Google, have a straight up help button. There's a shortcut, but you can also just ask things that you remember but may not remember entirely. And so that's really it on digital literacy. And we're going to take a little bit of the second half. It is 8:55, but we'll take some time to go towards project management.
So we're gonna be doing a little scavenger hunt type of thing. Not what you think it is, but I'm just gonna ask you really simple questions. Okay, how long would it take you to find, I guess, a planner from where you are if you have like a physical planner or notebook or something? Oh, I got you, George. Mine are too. Neither of you found one, but okay. I think, what about digital items? So let's move on to things like your resume on your laptop. How long would it take you to find that on your computer? Okay, Christy said a second.
Ooh, okay,
I have a
Chrissy.
doc on my phone.
Oh,
Okay, Sana has it. Anyone else?
Gmail search.
A quick Gmail search. Okay. All right, cool. What about the last paper you wrote for a class? You know, whatever paper it may be, whatever class it may be. How long would it take you to find something like that?
I don't write papers.
Or like assignments, whatever.
I don't even remember Google Doc reasons.
Okay, Google Doc reasons. Okay, history. Okay, cool. So mentally, how many steps did it take you to find a physical item?
I got one more. I got one more that I want to post.
Okay, he has one more. You go ahead.
How long would it take for you to find the essay that got you into Rutgers?
Damn, that's in like the depths of my Google Docs.
My old laptop, depths of Google Docs. I don't even know where it is.
Oh,
Honestly, I don't even know where mine is.
same.
Make sure I lost it. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna try it somewhere. Okay.
Cool. Okay, so mentally, how many steps did it take you to find a physical item, whether that be like walking to go get it, thinking about going to get it? How long did it take you, if that makes sense?
They're all on my desk.
Okay, so it took probably like a second. They're all there. Okay, cool. What about trying to find a file? So for example, right now, if you had to go find your resume. Okay, George said a step or two. All right, cool. All right, so when you're looking for digital item, what if you had to go find your resume right now? It asked you to, how many clicks do you think it would take?
2 clicks is just right there. Okay.
Wow. Christy's very organized. Okay, 5 to 8. Okay, desktop screen.
Yeah, I saw Sana put up a 5 or a 4. Or maybe she's
Okay.
just counting down for the new year.
Okay, yeah, so that was okay. So we can move on from this.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta get my own documents in a tizzy. Okay, yeah. So not only are we talking about shortcuts when it comes to time efficiency in terms of making sheets and making documents, but we're also talking about shortcuts with clicks and steps and things like that. Now, did you know that on average, it takes about 7 clicks to get to any kind of document that you're looking for on your computer? Right? 7. Okay. Now, imagine we were looking for our Rutgers essay, right? And you take, that seems reasonable. Thank you, George. And you take maybe 7 to go into a certain file location and it's not there. And you take another 7 and you take another 7, right? the problem with being disorganized, the problem with project management and not being able to find everything is 7 clicks turns to 14, turns to 30. And right now you're just lost in the digital maze of all of your items. I mean, how many people here are on a project or have been doing a project? Right? I mean, all of us are in Enactus. We're all in a project right now. Or if not, if we're not in the project, we're in a non-project allocation or an initiative. Join those. Project management is obviously very, very specific to Enactus. And so we came up with a little bit of a acronym called DOC. Now, what is DOC? DOC is documentation, organization, collaboration. How's this document labeled, or how's this content labeled? Where is it grouped or located? And regarding collaboration, is it visually presentable and consistent? So let's say your folder looks like this. I mean, you got advisor suggestions, you got and you got notes from class, copy of collaborative sheet. When it comes to documentation, we're talking about making sure your files look nice and that they're organized nice. You got the name of the class that you're in, you got the date that it was either assigned or created, and you got very specific to what the class notes are. Labeling files, you want to turn this into something that looks a little bit more like this, right? How many people, by show of reactions, how many people's like class documents look like, or honestly, even annotate the screen? Do they look a little bit like this, or they look a little bit like this? If people don't remember how to annotate, oh, there you go. We got an annotate here. Book assignment. I love how someone just circled book assignment. Anyone for this? This side, right side? Okay, well, it seems like Doc may be maybe doing a little bit of a checkup on all of y'all. Okay, we see a little bit of a date. Yeah, so dates are very underutilized. Definitely put them in your docs because sometimes you're going to forget when the assignment was due or when you created it, and that may become relevant. Okay, put them. Oh, let me clear off. Oh no. Oh yeah, also, sorry, I did not go through this, but yeah, so regarding folders, you know, being specific, RAMs, Enactus, part of Lex, or even with your classes, being part of management skills or being part of business form, letters, you know, organize them the way that you want to organize them, because sometimes when it comes to making folders, they alphabetize, so maybe you want them in a certain order. Okay, organization.
Cool. So bringing it back to, you know, digital footprint, digital literacy, your biggest constraint is going to be time management, effectively being able to manage your social life, school life, work life, whatever else you may have, all in, and sleep all in 24 hours. So you want to try to be as efficient as you can and practice a lot of these skills. And what that'll do is that'll actually help that'll help optimize your personal schedule. And your team meetings will be like more efficient and a lot better. Things will happen quicker, especially when like I was talking about before, trying to find documents on your laptop. The quicker you go in and try to look for it, the more efficient meetings will go, you know, things like that. Very simple things. So it should really be like second nature when it comes to like categorizing, organizing all of your documents, whatever you may have on, whether it be Google Drive, your Finder on Macs, whatever you're using, it should all be very second nature to start organizing and categorizing all of this stuff.
Yeah, so just like physically, you know, you may know that things are in your desk, or even you may know that your dishes are dirty, so you know where they are. You should be able to you should be able to find a file on your computer just as easily as you could find those physical items. And finally, getting on that CSUNA collaboration.
Collaboration. So part of project management is that you're not just working in a vacuum. You have to collaborate. So, and at Enactus, you all know that's what we're about. We have to collaborate with our team members, regardless of you being in an initiative or a project. And it's always good to establish a digital setup from the start. So with the people already on your teams and new members that join you, create a primary and secondary contact info document. So this can include phone numbers, emails, and then obviously us as Enactus, we use Slack, but GroupMe, Discord, if you want to utilize those as well. And then when you're part of a team, also remember you have to make sure that everyone understands the system. So making sure that everyone is up to date on that Enactus central drive, as well as the folders that you have in the central drive. That way there will be less redundancy inside the shared Google folder, basically avoiding the idea of too many cooks in the kitchen.
Cool. So does anyone have any questions regarding documentation, organization, collaboration? And as a follow-up question, what project are you on and what is your, established digital setup? Because I'm very interested. And if you don't have one, how dare they?
I can get us started if you would like. So I'm part of PAL Treats. I am PL for operations. And so we tend to use Slack. We have our little PALs channel, and then we have operations, sales, social media, one for leadership, and then just separate group chats if anyone needs to collaborate. And then, yeah, all our stuff is on the Enactus Central drives. We have it under PALs. It's organized in like operations, social media, sales. And in that we have the semester and stuff like that, event specific things. Like I'm working on packaging. So I would have like a little packaging tab, and then all the documents related to that would be in there. If you're working on like dog treats, everything related to that would be in like a dog treats little tab. So yeah, that's how we stay organized.
Awesome. Thanks, Pam. Anyone else?
I'm not a part of any projects, but like MemDev, we use Slack, and we also use Google Drive. And with Google Drive, it's like we divide it by like if it's like spring semester or fall semester and summer semester. And then like within like each semester, we have like divided like documents according to like each folder. So for example, we have a folder for events, or we have like we even have like a specific folder for collaboration and things like that.
And I'm in the Big Help Initiative, and with the Big Help Initiative, we have quite a few folders. So we have our international folder, but inside of the international folder, we have, or inside of the domestic folder, I'm just going off. Okay, sorry. We have two folders, the domestic folder and the international folder. And in the domestics folder, we have all of our things for the public speaking program that we had. So if that was like for mentors, like the interviews that we did for the mentors, and their resumes as well. And, we have everything like very organized. And that folder is also actually shared with the organization that we are partnering with, so Big Help for Education. And then in our international folder, we have all of our actual research going on. So with the needs analysis and the paradigm analysis, and any conversations that we have or interviews that we have with any other Enactus chapters in the United States or internationally that we're collaborating with right now, we have all of that information in there as well.
Nice. Wow. There's a lot of digital stuff right here. And it also seems like we're using Google Drive. But I've also seen things like Monday.com, project management tools, or Rutgers has their very own Google Drive in terms of Box. That's something that you may have authorized access for. Regarding communication, I'm here in GroupMe, Slack, text, emails. Sounds great. And with that, now that it is 9:12, or in Prithvi's case, the morning/evening witching hour, we shall be concluding this workshop with a little bit of some cool word clouds, right? So when we're looking at digital literacy, these are some things that you'll be thinking of. Project management, some things here. Yeah, and some learning objectives. So hopefully by the end of this, you have found some software, you know how to use Google Sheets, know how what shortcuts you should be working on. With project management, the main one here is following that doc format for any given file type, category, and team. And regarding Enactus, hopefully you can take initiative on establishing that digital setup and really cleaning that up so that, you know, time efficiency for the rest of the project time. That is the end